Hey everybody, Captain Condon here. Just kind of want to go through my build for the Division Beta. The beta is coming to a close here in a few hours, and just want to kind of go through my thoughts on optimal builds for PvP and PvE, and how I think I'll probably be playing the full release when it comes out. So, first things first, I'm currently set up for kind of my PvP build. It works very well for PvE as well. I prefer having an assault rifle as my primary, a closer range weapon as my secondary, and then as we know the pistol doesn't really matter too much. I just picked this one up in the dark zone because I had extra funds. So for my primary, I've been running with the Caduceus. Um, Very good weapon, can easily defend you at long range, at least throw down some suppressing fire, um, so you can get out of the fight, or suppress the enemy so you can get closer into the fight. Generally, I run this with any sort of optic. Right now, I have a critical hit rate and headshot damage and accuracy. Um, and of course, I have a critical hit rate, muzzle brake, a accuracy and stability, vertical grip, and then more crit and faster reload speed on my magazine. I find the 30 round mag is pretty good for it. Don't really have too many complaints. I did run with one that gave it, I want to say I was in the 39 to 41 range for a while, and yeah, it was nice, but I'd rather get that next mag in quicker and have more damage. So that's what I run with my primary. For a secondary, um, I like running the 870 Express or 870 Military. I haven't seen much difference in the stats between the two. Um, both quality guns, can really put the damage down when you got a guy charging you or when you're rushing in on the last couple enemies in a battle. Um, and that's generally what I use my secondaries for. My other builds that I've been running with, I will generally run with the SMG9, which is pretty good. And then I also ran for quite a while with the MP7. Um, Both seem to be very, very strong at the close range. Fully auto, just hammer it down. I don't suggest running the Burstfire MP5 if you're running an assault rifle primary. The assault rifle primary is just as strong at all the range that this is going to be good for. The Burstfire MP5 will not be able to protect you at close range like a fully automatic will. So, my build is generally farthest out, close range, never going to use it. Um, there's times where somebody will appear out of, your peripheral, and you'll need to do a quick swap and blow them away before they get up on you with a baseball bat or a golf club. That's what I use my secondary for. If I'm in a battle, like say I'm assaulting the sports store at the back of the dark zone, I will generally run with a SMG as a secondary. I breach from the top, and then as I'm working guys down, if they need one or two hits, quick swap to an SMG, give them a couple love taps, reload the weapon, and then get back on target with the Caduceus. I don't use a primary secondary setup where there's a long range and then the mid range option. You could use this Burstfire MP5 if you were running, say, the M4 or the M1A or M44. I think are the two longer range rifles in the game. But there really aren't a lot of encounters that I've found where you need that type of range. Now, maybe in the future, in the full release, there will be, but so far the Caduceus or even the military 416 or the Police M4, which I guess I sold. Those are all good options for that. The gear doesn't matter so much. You're more or less just trying to get your primary or your secondary, your firearm stamina or electronic skills up. I focused on firearms because, as you can see, at 171, I'm getting a full 171% firearms weapon damage increase. That's pretty high. I'm happy with that. Stamina, I did have a build where I was up over 4,000, but my guns just didn't seem to have the punch. It was kind of a balancing act. And of course, with the electronics, there's really no need for it in the beta that we can see right now. So my main focus was getting the firearms up. I do have a pretty decent armor stat. I don't know if it's actually in here. As I did do some farming of the Dark Zone, and have some fairly strong, armor pieces here. So on to the skills, or the abilities. And this is kind of where my builds start to change. I did play around with the tech a little bit and the ballistic shield. They're nice. I could see this sticky bomb being very good if you're running around looking to PvP people or steal people's gear in the Dark Zone. But in the Dark Zone, there really isn't much gear worth stealing. I never did have anything drop that I really wanted. All this stuff that I have right now, I bought. I just earned Dark Zone funds and went to the different vendors and bought stuff. Their stock refreshes maybe every time you reload into the instance or reload into the beta, so I just went and got it. So I focused clearly on a medical build, which I think was the best for the beta. With the pulse, when you're running in the Dark Zone, I suggest using the scrambler. People don't know where you are unless you become a rogue, which if you're a rogue, you better just start running because people are coming after you. But this was nice for, if you did have something you wanted to extract, you could easily just, pretty much be a ghost. Fire up a flare. You could run 100 meters down the road, hide, and people were trying to kill you. You could run up at the last second and still be able to secure your goods. Running around PvE. If you're going into an encounter or going into a series of encounters, this tactical scanner was really nice. The extra damage it provides to scanned enemies was noticeable. I didn't actually sit down and do the math on it or anything, but it was fairly significant, especially if you were, getting a lot of headshots. That's stacks on stacks there. So, if it's 15% and you're getting headshots, it's 15% on 25% on 12% from your gear. So that damage stacks pretty quickly. When I was running around looking for different pieces of intel or looking for, loot crates in the normal zone, I would generally run the recon pack just for the increased range, even though it doesn't really give you much range looking at the attribute stats below. But it did improve the cooldown some, and I was finding quite a bit more intel and keys and whatnot, lockpicks laying on the ground. I think in the full version of the game we'll probably unlock these one at a time. Since it's beta, I think they just let us have them all at once. So, so that's that ability. And of course, the second ability was first aid. This is like having an extra health kit on you. Really good if you're running solo, running ninja style, which makes the scrambler mod even more valuable. But if you're running in a group, and say somebody starts hitting one of your guys, you can actually shoot them with it, which is pretty nice. I really wish you could upgrade this, or at least see what the upgrades were, or how they worked a little better. It'd be kind of neat. Also be nice to try out some of these masters, but hey, it's a beta, right? Overall, I think Scrambler is probably best for PvP, just to hide yourself, hide your group. It does provide your entire group with the Scrambler effect, so nobody knows where you are unless you're rogue. So you can run around and do all the white knighting you want. The rogues that are out there that you're hunting won't know which way you're coming from, or which level, thinking of it vertically. So it's pretty nice. Overall, I thought the beta was really cool. Not a ton of content involved, but still, they gave you an idea of what's going to be going on. I think there's going to be main story quests or missions that are going to take you through different sections of the city as you level up. And on top of that, I think they're going to have those different market boards that they'll be posting daily quests or weekly quests to go encounter on the map, which I think will be really nice. Having logging in every day and running to one of those boards will be pretty easy, and then just hooking up with a fire team and taking off after different parts, grabbing your fabric, your weapon parts, electronic parts on the way, taking those out, then continuing with your main story quest, or going in the dark zone to level up, or trying to get some more gear. I think they got a good idea here. They just need to make sure they keep us with content. That's kind of always the big thing. That's what happened with Destiny. That's what's happened with a few other games I've played. We as players consume the content. We love the content, and when there's no content, there's nothing we can do. So I think they have a pretty good concept here, pretty good build. I just think they need to make sure they keep giving us stuff to do, whether it be putting hard mode, not allowing us to play hard mode on all of the missions right away. If they did that and maybe unlocked them once a month, added another couple missions to hard mode, or give us the ability to do hard mode on them, that would be a way of gating us to a certain extent. Because I do think like all modern games, we're just going to run out of content. So that's about it. That's what I have. What was your ideal build? What do you think was the best idea? Is it you got is it a long range, mid to long range weapon, or do you like 2 close range weapons? If you do, you're crazy. Or do you like a super long range weapon and then a mid range weapon? Let me know what you think. And till then, I guess we have about a month until the full release comes out, and when it does, we'll get to see what kind of tweaks they made off this. Those ATM machines, give me your money. All right.